Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Boss Creative Writing Festival. Today, we have 8 stories written by our students that we will read, okay? The stories are 500 words, not more, not less, maybe. And they are completely original, written by the students that you can see in front of us today. We would like to begin today's Creative Writing Festival by reading a story by Matilde from Genoa. Okay, so I will be reading this story. So please bear with me. I'm going to mute everybody so you can hear me clearly. And then I will begin. Any questions before I begin?
No.
Cool. Okay, guys, I'm going to mute you and read Matilda's story, which is called The Abandoned Prison. Okay. 470 words. Very good. So, I'm not a very good reader, by the way. And how do I scroll down? Okay. All right, so. In the edge of night, a 12-year-old boy decided to break into the abandoned prison, which stood dingy and crumbling near his house. He had always been fascinated by it, and that night he finally found the courage. The boy entered trembling. The place was gloomy, humid, and the only living creature apart from him were rats. He could hear the wind howling through the empty prison cells, sometimes interrupted by the distant drop of a dripping damp. The boy walked slowly on, fascinated by the dark corridors and empty spaces. He was pacing a corridor when suddenly he felt something or someone grab his arm. He quickly turned, but no one was behind him. He then looked up and saw hundreds, nay, thousands of corpses hanging from the ceiling, their sad eyes fixed on the pavement, their arms dangling. Terrified, Peter ran through the dark corridors till he found a small door slightly ajar. He stopped and, almost hypnotized, opened it slowly. The room looked tiny and empty in the semi-darkness. In its middle stood a little puppet. It was less than 3 feet tall, very smartly dressed with a top hat, a black suit, and shiny shoes. Its face was all wrong, though. It was of a sick, off-white colour. Its mouth was large and red like that of a clown. Peter could not decide if the puppet was smiling or grinning. They stood in front of each other for a long time. Peter didn't dare move nor breathe. He could only stare at the puppet and wait for something to happen. And then it did. The puppet tossed his head on one side and stared him right into his eyes. Pure horror struck Peter. He ran away through long dark aisles and wide empty spaces. Again, he was facing the corridor where the corpses were hanging. He hesitated a moment. There was no trace of the puppet, but he knew that he had to get away as quickly as he could. He hurried on, but the corpses were holding him back, tugging at his clothes, grasping his shoulders, clenching his hair. He forcibly managed to get free and broke into a desperate run. He found an open cell and quickly got in and bolted the door. He needed time to think. He needed time to breathe. He needed to remember the way to get out. He sighed and slowly turned around. On a chair in the far corner of the room sat the puppet, smiling. Peter shut his eyes, and when he opened them again, he was hanging upside down, his sad eyes fixed on the pavement, his arms dangling. Ooh.
Really?
Well done, Miss
That is
Kennedy.
really creepy.
Yes,
Yes.
so creepy, but very, very good. The description was amazing. Your imagination for the story was fantastic. Does anybody have any questions?
Um, Neil,
Yes?
Neil,
Yes, Blanca?
one question. So, is, are we going to have a winner at the end?
I don't like having winners, really, because everybody has worked very hard on these stories, and I don't think it's fair to have a winner unless everybody wants to have a winner.
Okay, okay.
I think just writing a story, you are already winning. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes. It was for curiosity.
Yeah, no, I thought about it, but I think something like this, it's just for enjoyment, for fun. Does anybody have any questions for Matilda about her story? Okay. Oh, my show is muted. I didn't mute you, so I think you did it yourself because I didn't do it.
Yes, you did mute me when I was pressing the mute button. The host has muted me.
Okay. Great, guys. We are going to move on to the next story. And the next story is Masho. So I'm going to mute everybody. And I am going to make Masho the presenter. Hello, Masho. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Over to you, Masho.
Just a second. I'm gonna move this thing. Here, there was a little girl named Anna. She is 16 and she is not in the best family. Her mom beats her up. His dad is an alcoholic and she has no friends. She had a bigger sister, but her brother passed away when she was 4. He had cancer, and he was in his non-biological brother, but she loved him a lot. But her mom was also an alcoholic as his dad. But she wanted to have a friend, and so she went to a public school and saw this girl who was a loner, and um, she replied and started chatting with the girl, and they became best friends for for 2-3 years. But after the girl named Mary, her best friend, decided that she was too cool for her, and she broke her heart, and she was all alone. So she was really sad, and the person that she trusted the most was her grandpa. He was the best person ever for her. So his grandpa had an idea for her. This was his idea. He just said, "I have 2 ideas for you, and I hope if you run in other country or just stay with me, but I will say that the better idea is to just go to Italy or France or wherever you want. I will give you $30,000 that I saved up for past 6 years, and just go, and I will tell everyone, so don't worry," he said. Okay, if it is better for us, I will. Her dream career was to be a movie producer, and was thinking about it for the past 3 years. Now she's 24 and was married with a good man, and was pregnant. But she didn't she didn't start the career she didn't start the career, but was planning, and one day that she would be the best movie producer. Her grandpa called and said, that your grandma died with cancer, and she was devastated. But her grandpa said her funeral is in 3 days, and she rushed to America and went back to the hometown and had a funeral of her grandma. In a day, she went back to France and started her own career with her husband, and was a millionaire in a year.
Masha. Any questions for Masha?
No, it's very interesting story.
Very interesting story. Very good. Very, very dark. Lots of twists and turns. All right, next.
Neil, I sent you a new version of my story because I found a wrong written word, and yes.
Okay, no problem. I will update it in a moment. So Samuele, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, guys. Next we will have Samuele. So I'm going to mute everybody, and I'm going to make Samuele. Where is Samuele? Samuele's here. The presenter. Hello, Samuele.
Can you see?
Yeah.
So, 1 month ago, a boy escaped from his house because he was very angry with his parents and went in a tent in the middle of the forest. His name is Tim. He's 14 and lives in Peasmarsh in England. Peasmarsh is a city surrounded by a very big forest, and Tim went there to live. His worry would never want to see his parents. Life was good in the forest. There wasn't dangerous animals, and it was always filled by delicious fruits. The only bad thing is that he was a little cold. Tim took his bow with him in case of danger and built a very big tent. The first days of living were very good for Tim, but not for his parents. They tried in every way to find him. The very next day, all the world entered in quarantine because of the coronavirus, and Tim's parents could not more search him. Tim didn't know that all the world was locked down, and after a few days they decided to go to the city. What's happening? Where is everyone? He asked while he was walking the principal streets of the city. He tried to come back home, but his parents didn't want him because they were afraid that he had the coronavirus. Tim, crying, turned back to his tent to pass the night. He was feeling lost because nobody wanted him, neither his family or friends. They were all afraid of the virus. Suddenly he heard a voice. There was someone else in the forest. It was a boy. His name is Simon and he is 15. He was in the forest for the same reason of Tim. He was feeling lost too. The two boys started to talk and set their own tent next to each other. Simon was from a city near Peasmarsh and got away from his house because he felt like he was already grown to be living still with his parents. But now the lives of these two boys were in danger. Anyone could help them. The day after, Tim was feeling ill. He had the cold and was coughing every minute. Simon tried to medicate him. The days were passing and Tim was feeling worse. And Simon started to have the same symptoms. So they went to an hospital. They both had the coronavirus. They were very worried. Every day in a bed with a machine that made them breathe. The next week, Simon started to feel better and get over the illness, but the situation of Tim was getting worse. Simon had to come back to his house and his family. The next day, Tim died.
Oh,
Deus do céu.
what Tim? Thank you,
It
Samuel.
was really scary.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions for Samuel?
No.
This is yes, Masha.
I thought you were talking about the Tim, the boss staff, Tim, but he didn't die.
I was thinking this also. Tim. Right, guys. So,
Neil,
yeah.
Alicia left because she had to go to have lunch.
Okay, no problem. Let me just tell you something very interesting. Last summer, Arsene and Bella, they were at Boss at the same time. Arsene
Who is that?
was in schoolhouse and Bella was in Oaks House.
Bella. Oh, I don't remember her.
At the same time, you guys were in Boss together for 2 weeks. I will try to find a photograph and show you later, maybe.
Okay.
Everybody. Okay, so any questions for Samuele? No? Okay, next is Tisa's story, and I will read Tisa's story. So let me mute everybody, and I will begin. I have the new version, Tis, so please do not worry. Here we go. Okay. For one and only time travel. The year, hang on a second. Okay, the year is 1990. It is a frosty winter evening in a little village in the USA. Jorge is really excited. He worked more than 20 years on his machine. That is a half of his whole lifetime. But it was worth it because this machine will make him happy. Nobody succeeded in building a time machine which will travel through time. The time machine is in a form of a box into which only one person fits. In the box is a chair. On each armrest of the chair is one touchscreen. He needs the box around the chair because the pressure in the fourth dimension travel zone is so big that a person would be pressed to the size of a grain of sand immediately. So he built a very resistant shield. When he enters the time machine, the voice assistant says, "Good morning, Jorge. How was your day since yet?" He answers, "Very nice, thanks." He couldn't sleep the whole night because he was so excited. He sits on the chair. There are only a few minutes until the first time travel will happen. He buckles up carefully because he wears his best suit and puts on the helmet. He thinks about what would have happened if he told somebody that he invented such a big innovation. There is not just a time machine, there are even touchscreens and the voice assistant. But this is not the reason for all this, because he just don't want to live in this time anymore. The world is very prejudiced against some ethnic groups, and he can't stand it any longer because he is in one of these ethnic groups. He specified the dates he wants to travel to. The date is the 9th of April in the year 2050, and he wants to arrive at 1 p.m. He confirms the information. This will be a big moment in the history of mankind. He presses the big button to travel. The box begins to vibrate very hard. After 3 seconds of vibrating, it is completely silent. But then the voice assistant says, "You are now in the fourth dimension travel zone. It takes 5 minutes to get to your given date." After those 5 minutes, the time machine starts to fall very fast. But suddenly, the time machine stops. He is very sweaty because he was really scared during the fall, but now it's a big moment. He opens the door. It smells a very nice scent. There are a lot of big trees, although it is a big city. Where his house was before is a giant tree now. He crosses the street where he meets a lot of nice clothed people. In his time, there were a lot of homeless people, but in this time, there isn't even one. When he reaches the sidewalk, a man clothed with a suit says, "Nice suit." Jorge isn't able to say anything, but he knows that this time is perfect for him. Sorry that this is 525 words. Don't be sorry, Tees, because that was fantastic. Well done, Tees. Any questions for Tees?
No.
Tees, have you seen Back to the Future?
Yes.
It reminded me of Back to the Future because this is my favorite film. I think about Back to the Future every day. Andrea, you have a question?
Nope. I just have my hand like that. Sorry.
I
I just had it like this.
I am just the Statue of Liberty. Any questions for Tees? No. Okay, Tees. Thank you very much. Blanca, are you ready?
Yes. So like my story is like quite longer.
1 second. Sorry, Blanca. Okay, Blanca. Yes.
I'm very sorry because my story is like quite longer than 500. Well, quite well than 500 words.
Okay, so it's 1,000 words.
No, 590.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Sorry.
That's
Okay.
all right.
There he was. At 3 a.m. on February 24th, 1960, inside that mysterious museum, full of fantastic works by great artists, full of irreplaceable pictures of people who would never have thought that their art would be found in a gallery, within such wonder and such fantasy, there he was, the most wanted criminal in the American history, Vincent van Gogh, with an overly realistic mask, observing the pictures, walking through the works, stopping from time to time, walking stealthily but awkwardly. Something had to be up. In that moment, he seemed very interested in a painting called "Convergence" by Jackson Pollock. Wasn't he getting too close? Close? What was he about to do? Suddenly, he took off his extremely long black glove, and with his index finger he stroked the gigantic painting with power. Ah! He shrieked Vincent, terrified, as he fell through a iron tunnel full of bright colors, which actually seemed to be singing. After a while, he fell with a deafening thud to a vast room. The place was uncommonly strange, since all the walls were huge replicas of the painting he had touched earlier. The delinquent was extremely puzzled after the extraordinary event that had made him so dizzy. So, after recovering from the scare, Van Gogh began to observe every detail of the painting. The stripes of black, a little red, yellow, even blue. Amazing. Sometime later, guarding the museum, was a strong and robust guard called Axel. Watching and listening carefully, that silence was the only noise. Everything was correct until he arrived to the Convergence art piece. For the first time, a small human was illustrated. There had to be a problem. Spooked, he called the detective Pollock and his helper Picasso to solve the case. They put on their clothes from the previous day and started their short walk towards the gallery. They crossed the park, the zoo, and finally stopped before the huge wooden doors. They met the guard and left to visit the piece. Along the way, Axel had to sprint to the toilet, and luckily left them alone. Afterwards, when they reached the art, the first thing they both did was gently touch the painting. Big mistake, wasn't it? Abruptly, they found themselves on a chilling slide that kept turning. They swished around for some time until they landed in a chamber. No, it was not normal. If not, all the walls were covered by the same art composition. Convergence. Deftly, the detectives twisted and and was surprised to notice that someone else was in that room. The investigator and his helper immediately knew that the person was a masked criminal, but they did not want him to know. So Pollock approached to him and asked, "Hello? Who are you?" Hearing a voice, the thief screamed as acute as chalk grating a blackboard, and sped to face the other living beings in the room. No one spoke. Finally, the assistant managed to end the peculiar looks, and the detective managed to speak to the foreigner calmly. They got him to reveal his face and name, as they had become sort of friends. Wow, it was Van Gogh! Now the thing in the head of the detective and his assistant within question was, how could they get out of that room without windows or doors? The first one who dared to ask the uncertainty aloud was Picasso, and what happened next was really unexpected, unimaginable, rare. "You will never know that," he said, and ran towards a wall, which absorbed him. Nothing more was ever heard of the good detective and his cunning assistant. Thank you.
Well done, Blanca. That was fantastic. Any questions for Blanca?
No.
Is this a true story, Blanca?
No.
Because the characters are real, right?
Yes. The character, yes, but the like the others, no. And the painting, the photo that was at the end, is the painting that is called Convergence, and it's a true painting.
Where is it?
In Albright Knox Art Gallery in Buffalo.
Wow, you know a lot.
Yes, I really like it.
I think in the future you will be good.
Where is Max? Oh, there you are. Sorry. Everybody's in front of me, but when somebody speaks, I'm like, where are you? Where are you? It takes me a few minutes.
Pardon,
Sorry, Max.
Can you repeat it, please?
Sorry, Max, say again. Max?
Yes,
Can you say it again, please?
but I didn't say anything.
I think Arson was it.
Ah, who said it?
No, it was Max, no? You said, I think in the future, something.
No, I didn't say it.
Who's...
This is the person from Matilda's story in the prison. Oh my goodness. Any questions for Blanca? Somebody definitely spoke. Somebody said.
Who's Arson?
Who spoke? Somebody said.
Arson.
Arson
No,
is
but
on.
Arson has his microphone off.
Somebody said, I think that in the future you will something. We will have we will have to watch the video again afterwards. I think it was definitely Max.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was Augusta.
Who?
Augusta.
No, it wasn't Augusta. I don't know
I think
who.
it was Arson.
It was definitely. I think it was Max.
No, it wasn't me.
Max, you didn't say. Are you telling? Are you sure?
Saying the truth?
You didn't say.
Yes, I'm definitely sure that I didn't say anything.
Oh my goodness.
This is so curious.
Right, we need to watch the video back. It was about 40 minutes. All right, I'll check later. I can't unmute myself. Sorry, Arson. Here we go. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, so well done, Blanca. Thank you very much. Next story, we have Leanne. So where is Leanne?
But my story is just like, I think, much too short.
That's okay. A story is a story. So I will mute everybody. I will make you the presenter. Can you share your screen, Leanne? Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Thank you, Leanne.
So, all right. Today was a good day. Not one of the fantastic ones, but neither one of the bad ones. The sun was shining bright and a lot of birds were around. I don't like birds because of their annoying singing, but I think it's important for the story. Hi, my name is Peter and I'm living in your future. and I swear this will blow your mind. I was walking around when I met Sam, my friendly giant frog. He's 3 meters high, but he hasn't even grown up completely. He's he's blue with orange point and 2 hatch ears. On his back, he's wearing a saddle, so I got on his back and he started galloping. I flipped a little black box out of my pocket, and when I opened it, it suddenly unfolded to a holographic map from our near environment. I saw a traffic jam round about 500 meters ahead, so I decided to take a shortcut through the forest. I pulled Sam's left ear gently, and we changed direction to the left, and we went past the barriers, which are blocking the bird voices from the sensitive frog ears. We were almost halfway to the forest when the first birds arrived. I gave Sam a signal to run faster, but the birds were still following us. You have to understand, the birds singing makes the frogs hurt pretty bad, and after a while they can't keep running because of them losing their orientation sense. So we had to hurry up, or else I wouldn't be able to be on time by my labor. And when this happened, the frogs started going nuts in the compound. It seems hopeless because the birds were even coming from the front, but then I heard a loud noise from Sam's mouth. He screamed so loud, all the birds disappeared, and it was incredible. Never before had I heard anything that was able to scare birds away. I was so proud of my little Sam, and I was so glad that Sam was fine and we arrived on time to let the baby frogs out. This is the story about the first bird scaring scream. Yo, Peter. Thank you.
1 second. Thank you very much, Leanne. Where is
Thank you too.
Well done, Leanne. That was fantastic. Is this a
Thank
question,
you.
Blanca?
What? Yes. I didn't understand the end sentence. You're Peter.
Yes, it's a story written by Peter, and so I decided that Peter should say bye in the end.
Ah, okay.
So you wrote the story from the angle of Peter, like Peter.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So next on the list we have Arsen. Arsen, are you ready?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let me mute everybody. Let me not mute Arsen. Let me make Arsen the presenter. Okay, Arsen, you are telling your story.
Okay, my story is a little bit cartoon and little bit fantasy. So, and just listen. Once there was one boy who loved the video games. It was about the 80s. One day, he would like to realize his dream so that the whole world would recognize him. And just at that time, a gaming exhibition was taking place. There were a lot of people, but only two got to the finals. He tried his best, and of course got the finals. But his opponent was a cheater, but he did not suspect this. The cheater had glasses on which the very cheats were written in small print codes. The cheater pressed him when he started to lose, and then he lowered his points so that all his cheat codes were clearly visible. And of course he won. He melted and fuses went home. And now, after 40 years, they grew up and everyone found a job, but not a cheater. Cheaters were imprisoned for some kind of attack, and the boy John, who lost worked as an installer of equipment. He still had little bit plump, friend who became the ghost of America. John often visited him. That record of video games that was 40 years ago, it was not destroyed. It was sent to space. And the aliens found this record and accepted it as a war. They had the ability to transform into anything, and of course they turned it into these games. The first attack was at a military base from where the signal went throughout America that the attack had taken place, and the president gathered all the admirals of all the captains, including his friend, who was a gamer. When he sees these pixels, he immediately realized that these were games who were in the past, but his friends captains did not believe him because they considered it like fairy tales. Come on, please. Tales. And kicked him out of the meeting. But this gamer was really right only under the second attack in India. They believed him and gathered all the soldiers who started to train them to play these games, since they were pros in their field. And so came their third attack in the game of Snake. Gamers would like to attack, but the admirals did not give them because they were not ready. But they knew all these games much better than they did. But when everything got out of hand, gamers literally burst into weapons and began to fight with them, and of course they won. And so everything would be decided on the last fourth attack, which took place in New York. They called an army of all the video games from that record, but to get on the sheet, the so-called heart of all the pixels, they teleported to there and defeated the most important pixel. And so gamers became admirals and everyone lived happily ever after. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Well, Arsen, good work. Does anybody have any questions?
I've got one question.
Yes, Max.
I don't understand this moment with these admirals. What were these admirals?
Can you repeat, please?
I don't understand this moment with these admirals. What were these admirals?
You mean that in the meeting?
Yes.
They kicked him because they don't believe him that it was the video games.
Okay.
Any more questions for Arsen? Okay. Right, guys, we have 7 minutes left. I'm going to read my story, and then we will think about next week.
And can we see the video?
Which video?
The one like to see who spoke.
We can't see it now, but later I will share the video on the Boss blog.
Okay.
You can see it on the blog later this afternoon. Matilde?
Can we listen at your TED Talk?
Pardon?
Can we listen at your TED Talk?
Can you see the TED Talk?
At your TED Talk.
My
Can we listen to your TED Talk?
Yes.
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 Yesterday we didn't have time, and today we don't have time. But my TED Talk was boring.
No, it's not.
No, we will listen it.
What? So, what about my story? Do you want to hear my story or my TED talk?
Yes, both of
Both.
them.
Oh,
Both.
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 I need to find my other computer which is upstairs. My other computer has my TED talk. Oh no, it's here, I think. All right, 1 second. Let me read my story. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I mute everybody? Okay, my story is called The Old Man. No, it's not. It's called I can't speak. It's called The Boy and the Old Man. So, I wrote it like a poem in 3 different chapters. So, chapter 1, The Boy. I already spotted the mistake. There we go, better. There's an old man next door at number 30 who's very old and very dirty. His house is covered in creeping plants. His window frame's rotten, chewed by a million ants. His front garden's full of insects, all sorts of different breeds. We're sure there's rats, bats, and wild cats living in his big tall weeds. We sometimes see him staring through his filthy window's cracked glass, waving his skinny hand in anger as my friends and I pass. We point, throw stones, we mock, and we all laugh, shouting, "You stink, old man, and you need a bath." There was even this one time when he came to his front door. We shouted to him, "Give us a chase," and he fell down to the floor. Once we threw big rotten eggs at his house without a care. And even now, after months and months, the crusty egg's still there. Chapter 2, The Old Man. I've been living in this house for 80 years, well, maybe 83, quite peacefully until recently when some kids started bothering me. I'm 90 years old, I'm weak, there's not much that I can do. I can't even manage at the best of times to get myself to the loo. I've got no friends or family, I live here all alone. And what was once a beautiful house has become my messy home. My windows are cracked, my garden's a complete mess. What's living in my big long weeds, I can only guess. I need some help as I'm slowing down. I'm struggling more and more. So thought I could give some money to the young lad living next door. He passed by my house and I gave him a wave to see if he wanted to earn some money to save. But he and his friends seemed to find something funny when all I wanted to do was ask if he wanted to earn some money. Chapter 3, The Boy and the Old Man. I used to be really mean to the old man next door, but I could no longer bring myself to leave him lying on the floor. My friends told me, "Leave him there, he's a smelly old man." But when I offered him some help, a new friendship began. He wasn't just a smelly old man who had no strength to stand. He was a human being like all of us who just needed a hand. Before I had help from the boy next door, I struggled every day. But now he's offering me his help. My life is better in every way. I am so grateful to him for everything that he's done. And even though he's young and I'm old, we're having a lot of fun. Before, I'd sit at home all day, feeling so alone and sad. But now these days that I have left are some of the best I've ever had. Although those days might not be many, for I am nearing my end, at least those days that I do have will be spent with my new friend. Any questions?
No.
Masho?
No, sorry.
It was
You did
amazing.
it the sort of the one like you.
Yeah, because I wrote you up, so this is my style. You see?
I like it.
Bianca?
Is it a true story?
No. But good question. When I was writing it, I was thinking about one house near where I lived when I was a child, because the house was very messy, and the garden had lots of trees and weeds, and the windows were dirty and you couldn't see inside. So I was thinking about this. Arsene, do you have a question?
Okay.
Yes, I mean, well, I forgot my question.
No. Maybe it wasn't a real question. Okay, guys, I will not do my TED Talk because we do not have time.
Okay, maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next week. One second, I want to show you something. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
I think I remember Bella.
I'm close to the oh my gosh.
here's Bella.
I remember.
Here is us.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so
So
scared here. I think we were in
I
one
was
bus
so
with
close
Bella
to
when we
him.
traveled to London.
So there is Bella.
I was so close to him in a photo and I don't meet him.
But
Oh my gosh.
there are so many.
No,
So many
I think
people.
we were in one bus when we traveled to London.
Hey.
I remember the caramel.
Okay. Right, guys. Does everybody have 2 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we can talk about next week.
Yes.
So next week, there is nothing on Monday. Please remember also there is nothing tomorrow, because tomorrow and Monday in the UK, we have a holiday. So,
So Monday there's no class.
no
There's
And in
no-
Poland, we've got holiday now.
Right.
we have had a lot of time of holiday.
Very good. All right. So I want to have a holiday and stay in my
Okay.
for 4 days.
You can relax just some days.
Oh, thank you, Arsene. Thank you. All right. So next week on Friday we will have book club.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
What book are we reading?
I have very interesting book about it calls A to Z, and I think it will be interesting for us.
What's it called?
It's encyclopedia.
Oh, but we need something like a story.
No, there is story of different wars.
A dictionary? Should we read the dictionary?
Thank you.
I'm only joking. Is it a story, Arsene, or is it an encyclopedia?
I think it's more 50-50.
All right.
So.
Does anybody know any books which are not so long, which are very inspirational, that you could recommend? You think
No fun books, but no, it's inspirational books.
I can show it right now if you want.
There's one that is called The Third Weight Inheritance.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like it's funny.
I know. Wait.
But it's like quite long. Well, not quite long, but like if we need to read it in little time.
All right. So don't worry, guys. I will choose a book this afternoon. Anyway, I was looking at lots of different books.
Is this a big book?
Okay.
The big book, big ideas.
Neil.
This is a great book, but I think
it says the little book of big ideas.
I think it's better for us to have like a storybook. Who is Lado? Hello, Lado.
Hi.
Who is it?
Lado Kaltaradze.
I don't see him. I can't see him.
Lado, we are just about to finish. but welcome.
And Neil.
Yes.
There's a I think you know it called the top like a collection called from a boy like called Tom Gates, and it's like very quick to read.
What's it called?
Tom Gates. So there's like a lot of books in the collection.
Is it very easy to read?
It's
Yes.
like a comic.
All right,
Yes.
I will
Like
send.
it seems long, but it's like it has a lot of pictures in.
Okay.
Maar dan is het opgedaan.
Hello, Lado. Parmajoba, Rogorha.
Neil.
Yes.
So we next lessons will be a Tuesday, yes?
Yes, on Tuesday, guys. I will
Okay.
send you. Who's Jeff? Who's Jeff?
I don't know.
Can you?
I didn't know
Jesus.
too.
Huh?
It's Jeff Bezos.
Who's Jeff?
Jeffrey.
It's Andrea.
Hello, Jeff.
Nina Bach.
Okay, guys. I will find the book. I will send it to you this afternoon.
Okay.
All right. So we can
Okay.
have 1 week to read the book.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So Tuesday. What should we do Tuesday?
Mm,
The quiz.
I think Tuesday is good
Okay.
to prepare for the week ahead.
What?
I like
One more time.
quizzes or riddles.
Prepare for the what?
We could do like a riddle, another riddle quiz.
Not if you will be here, Blanca. It's not fair.
Okay, well a challenge quiz like the other day.
Okay, so Tuesday
Can-
is just kind of like a fun activity.
Okay.
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 We don't need to prepare anything, yes?
But Tuesday, no. You
Okay.
don't need to prepare anything.
But
So-
I like so it doesn't matter, but I like activities where there's competition. Like not competition like what we did of this, the writing, or like where we present our things.
okay, yeah, I also like this. So
With
Wednesday,
voting.
shall we do a presentation, present something on Wednesday, a project?
No.
What kind of?
Who wants to do a project we present on Wednesday?
What's the topic gonna be?
Can we do a project like with
What's
another
the topic
friend
gonna
here?
be?
One moment.
It's like presentation.
Yes, so you will prepare something outside of this class and prepare and present it on Wednesday. For example,
You mean
like today, like yesterday, last week we did film week and we did business week, things like this.
you
Can we
mean
do it- can we
the
do, like,
presentation? You mean the presentation from Microsoft PowerPoint?
Yeah, if necessary.
Okay.
Neil?
Yes, Blanca?
If I will have the computer, I will try to do it.
You don't need to do PowerPoint. You can also do it like on paper.
Okay, I will try.
Yes, Blanca?
So can we do like a project with someone else here?
That's what I would really
Like-
like. Yeah. That's why I think if we could do like international nights.
Maybe yes. Maybe.
And talk about our country, like
Yeah,
the
but
country.
what I need to do is I need to learn how to, so you can work together, you know?
Or maybe in cities only.
I think here is no one from Kazakhstan.
Only you, Arsene.
Yes.
But maybe we can give each other like our number or a mail, and we can talk by like video call, like not in Zoom.
This is why I wanted everybody to join Edmondo, you know, the classroom online, because here you can do this.
Neil,
Yes, Arsene?
what about the plus international night? Like we will plus one country with one country, and for example, there
Okay,
have a lot of.
an idea. I have an idea. Tis, Leanne, where is Leanne?
I don't know. I think she left.
Okay. I will send you an email, all right?
Okay.
Now, I'm just trying to think how we can organize this. For example, You can present your city. However,
City.
yeah,
I can go.
we have Samuele and where is Anastasia today? She's not here.
I can go with Alicia.
Okay, shall we present our cities?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay.
Yes,
It
please.
will be easier, I think.
Okay, so Matilde from Genoa. Okay, Masho, where are you? Did she leave?
She need to go.
Masho, can you hear me?
No, she left because she need to go.
Where is Andrea? Did Andrea also leave?
Ah no, Mashu's muted.
Yes, you should unmute it.
Masho and Andrea.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Lado is from Georgia too.
No, but we will do. Where is Jeff? Right, guys. So what we will do is right now I will tell you what you need to do. Okay. So Masho and Andrea, you are both from Tbilisi.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So does somebody want to talk about food in Tbilisi, for example?
I can. I
I
love food.
can about my.
Andrea.
I love food.
Me and Andrea, our moms are friends, so we can call like in just like normal.
Okay. So you guys, you prepare a presentation about Tbilisi,
Okay.
Okay.
about life in Tbilisi. Okay.
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 Bella.
Should we talk about the culture too?
Yeah. Talk about everything.
Okay.
Hello, Lado. I can see you. I cannot hear you.
Neil, I have to go.
All right.
No, I was unmuted. I was unmuted.
Okay, guys, do you know Lado?
Yes, I do.
No.
Andrea, do you know Lado?
Yeah, she
Can
studies in my school.
Can you also speak with Lado about this presentation?
I hear you. I hear you.
Pardon?
I hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me, Lado?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, my name is Neil. Welcome.
Okay.
Okay, Arsen, for you, it's very easy. You can talk about Kazakhstan.
Okay.
Bella, for you, it's very easy. You can talk about Portugal.
I can talk for any. For any.
Can I?
Maximum 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Bella?
Can I talk from Brazil, not from Portugal, because I'm born in Brazil. I know.
Yes, please. Perfect. Good. Thies, which city are you from?
I'm from Flensburg. It's in a very north end of Germany.
Okay.
It's a very little city.
And there is nobody else in this place. Okay. You can talk about your town, living in your town, where you live. Matilde from Siena and Samuele from Siena. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Matilde.
No.
Hello, Matilde.
Perfect. Thanks.
So you guys, and also I think maybe next week there will be Anastasia. So you guys, can you talk about life in Siena? Maybe you can talk about food. Does somebody want to talk about the food in Siena?
Yes.
Okay, Matilde, food in Siena. Samuele, can you talk about like maybe El Palio, for example, the culture in Siena?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Bianca and Matilde from Genoa. Can you talk about life in Genoa? Can you guys speak to each other because you are friends? Matilde,
Yeah.
and then I will unmute you. Because you guys are friends, Matilde and Bianca, can you call each other to arrange what you will talk about?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, thank you. Blanca, Barcelona.
I can do it with Alicia.
Excellent. Max, Poland. You are the only guy from Poland, so you can talk about Poland.
But I want to talk about Katowice.
Okay, you can talk about the music, etc.
Okay.
Is this everybody? Bella, yes.
I have to go.
Okay, guys. I will think about the program. I will send it this afternoon.
Okay.
But one of the project's presentations will be your city, your country. Okay?
Neil.
Okay.
Okay, if you have to go, have a great weekend, guys. and
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
look forward to-
Bye.
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 Neil, can I do my presentation about Germany, because about my city isn't a lot to say.
The only reason why I mentioned your city, Ties, is because there is also Leanne from Germany, Katrina from Germany.
Okay.
This is why, because otherwise it can be confusing. Or maybe this would be easier on Tuesday. Okay. For now, think about your life in your city, okay, in your area of Germany. And on Tuesday, we will speak to the other guys and we will see what you have done. And then we can tell the other guys what they can talk about. Okay?
Yeah.
Bella, do you have a question?
No.
Arsene, do you have a question?
He's muted.
Hi, Arsene.
No, I don't have.
Any
I
questions?
Can I talk for any team?
Yes, because you are the only guy from Kazakhstan, so you can talk.
Okay.
Bella?
I don't know Augusta coaching.
Augusta Coutinho is your agent.
What
When
is
you
that?
came to Boss, she helped
Yeah.
you come to Boss.
Ah, okay. But she's from where is she?
From Portugal, like you. Matilde, do you have any questions from Sienna?
No.
Bianca,
Perfect.
any questions? Lado, hello. Lado,
Hi.
you came a bit late today.
Yes, I had another lesson and I came as soon as I could.
Our next class will be on Tuesday at 1 o'clock UK time. I think
Okay.
in Georgia, this is
4 o'clock.
5 o'clock. All right. Matilde from Genoa, do you have any questions? Okay, guys, have a great week.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Thanks. And happy Easter.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Bye.
You know, Kazakhs not celebrate the Easter because they are Muslims.
Because you have no Rus.
No.
Georgia Easter is in the 19th of April. On the 19th.
Today is the 9th, so
In
10 days.
Kazakhstan Easter it calls Nowruz.
Neil, I
It's
think
like
you forgot to take the photo.
Oh no! Okay, I have a video, so I can take a screenshot from the video.
okay.
Okay,
So
guys.
We
bye.
need to know who was the person which said something.
Yes, I think it was Max, so we will find out. Okay, guys, have a good weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Happy holidays.
Have a good
Please.
Easter.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Bianca. Thank you. Bye, Bella.
Thank you.
Bye, Gusta.
Go out first.
1, 2,
I'm going.